Hello and welcome to the final video in our series, A Journey Through the Map of Runeterra. At this point we've gone through the jungles of Ixtal, over the deserts of Shurima, climbed to the peaks of Targon, set sail to the port city of Bilgewater, wandered through the fog of the Shadow Isles, walked over the magical land of Ionia, reforged in the fires of Noxus, faced the bitter cold of the Freljord, moved through the proud kingdom of Demacia, strolled over the golden late streets of Piltover, delved into the sumps of Zon, traveled through unseen portals to Bandle City, and now it is time our journey takes the final step to the birthplace of the Void. While I wouldn't really describe the Void as a singular location on Runeterra, I can find a concentration of the Void located here in Acadia. Screaming into existence with the birth of the universe, the Void is a manifestation of unknowable nothingness that lies beyond. It is a force of insatiable hunger, waiting through the eons until its masters, the mysterious Watchers, mark the final time of undoing. To be a mortal touched by this power is to suffer an agonizing glimpse of eternal unreality, enough to shatter even the strongest mind. Denizens of the Void realm itself are construct creatures, often of only limited sentience, but tasked with a singular purpose: to usher in total oblivion across Runeterra. Now we will look at the champions of the Void, those you might find, or hope not to find, should you journey there. Belvith, the Empress of the Void, a nightmarish empress created from the raw material of an entire devoured city. Belvith is the end of Runeterra itself, and the beginning of a monstrous reality of her own design. Driven by epochs of repurposed history, knowledge, and memories from the world above, she voraciously feeds an ever-expanding need for new experiences and emotions, consuming all that crosses her path. Yet her wants could never be sated by only one world, as she turns her hungry eyes towards the Void's old masters. Cho'Gath, the terror of the Void. From the moment Cho'Gath first emerged into the harsh light of Runeterra's sun, the beast was driven by the most pure and insatiable hunger, a perfect expression of the Void's desire to consume all life. Cho'Gath's complex biology quickly converts matter into new bodily growth, increasing its muscle mass and density, or hardening its outer carapace like organic diamond. When growing larger does not suit the Void spawn's needs, it vomits out the excess material as razor-sharp spines, leaving prey skewered and ready to feast upon later. Isa, daughter of the Void. Claimed by the Void when she was only a child, Kaisa managed to survive through sheer tenacity and strength of will. Her experiences have made her a deadly hunter, and to some, the harbinger of a future they would rather not live to see. Having entered into an uneasy symbiosis with the living Void carapace, the time will soon come when she must decide whether to forgive those mortals who would call her a monster and defeat the coming darkness together, or simply to forget as the Void consumes the world that left her behind. Kassadin, the Void Walker. Cutting a burning swath through the darkest places of the world, Kassadin knows his days are numbered. A widely traveled Shuriman guide and adventurer, he had chosen to raise a family among the peaceful southern tribes, until the day his village was consumed by the Void. He vowed vengeance, combining a number of arcane artifacts and forbidden technologies for the struggle ahead. Finally, Kassadin set out for the wastelands of Acadia, ready to face any monstrous Void construct in his search for the self-proclaimed prophet, Malzahar. Kha'Zix, the Void Reaver. The Void grows and the Void adapts. In none of its myriad spawn are these truths more apparent than Kha'Zix. Evolution drives the core of this mutating horror, born to survive and slay the strong. Where it struggles to do so, it grows new, more effective ways to counter and kill its prey. Initially a mindless beast, Kha'Zix's intelligence has developed as much as its form. Now, the creature plans out its hunts and even utilizes the visceral terror it engenders in its victims. Kog'Maw, the mouth of the abyss. Belched forth from a rotting Void incursion deep in the wastelands of Acadia, Kog'Maw is an inquisitive yet putrid creature with a caustic gaping mouth. This particular void spawn needs to gnaw and drool on anything within reach to truly understand it. Though not inherently evil, Kog'Maw's beguiled naivete is dangerous, as it often precedes a feeding frenzy, not for sustenance, but to satisfy an unending curiosity. Malzahar, the prophet of the void. A zealous seer dedicated to the unification of all life, Malzahar truly believes the newly emergent void to be a path to Runeterra's salvation. In the desert wastes of Shurima, he followed the voices that whispered in his mind, all the way to the ancient Acadia. Amidst the ruins of that land, he gazed into the dark heart of the void itself, and was gifted with new power and purpose. Malzahar now sees himself as a shepherd, empowered to bring others into the fold, or to release the voidling creatures that dwell beneath. Rek'Sai, the Void Burrower. An apex predator, Rek'Sai is a merciless void spawn that tunnels beneath the ground to ambush and devour unsuspecting prey. Her insatiable hunger has laid waste to entire regions of the once great empire of Shurima. Merchants, traders, even armored caravans will go hundreds of miles out of their way to avoid her and her offspring's hunting grounds. All know that once Rek'Sai is seen on the horizon, death from below is all but guaranteed. Vel'Koz, the Eye of the Void. It is unclear if Vel'Koz was the first Voidborn to emerge on Runeterra, but there has certainly never been another to match his level of cruel, calculating sentience. While his kin devour or defile everything around them, he seeks instead to scrutinize and study the physical realm and the strange warlike beings that dwell there for any weakness the void might exploit. But Vel'Koz is far from a passive observer, striking back at threats with deadly plasma or by disrupting the very fabric of the world itself. Now let us gaze into the abyss of the void itself. In the abyssal darkness, deep underground, it is believed that the first great void creatures to walk the surface of Runeterra now lie dormant and unseen. If that is true, then they have waited patiently through the millennia, and it must surely now be time for them to rise once more. While the void's location is under Runeterra, should you decide to stare into the abyss, Acadia would be the place to go. A great and terrible battle was fought against the void before the walls of ancient Acadia. In the aftermath, the lands all around the damned city became deserted wastes, and its very existence was struck from the maps of Shurima. It was hoped, perhaps foolishly, that the horrors unleashed there would eventually be forgotten. On the outskirts of Acadia lies the rupture, evidence of the void itself bursting forth from deep beneath the ground in an age now lost to history. Though the bold and the curious alike have often sought to learn more, only the most foolhardily explorer would ever dare venture into the dark spaces beneath. One of the few known ways to combat the void is to starve it. With no organic or magical sustenance nearby, the void's material growth will slow until it eventually falls into a dormant state. Though it has bred many of them, no two horrors of the void are exactly the same. Their otherworldly forms are as varied as they are terrifying, yet all are driven by an insatiable hunger, with the eerie pulsing of their hearts driving them relentlessly onward. These are the Voidborn. Some legends suggest that when they first emerge into Runeterran air, the Voidborn are generally pale, fibrous, and flexible. As they age, sections of their form harden into darker, shell-like chitin, which can become strong enough to turn aside almost any weapon. Over the centuries, many mortals from the world above have answered the void's call, or been dragged down against their will. There are those among them, few and far between, who have survived the encounter, though not a single one of them returned unchanged. And so that's it for our video on the void. I know there was a really big gap between our video covering Bandle City and the Bandlewood and this one, but I really wasn't aware of Acadia, that this was kind of almost a base of operations for the void within the world of Runeterra. I thought the void was just kind of underneath Runeterra, but I'm glad we found it, and I do believe this is truly the last video in our series, A Journey Through the Map of Runeterra. I really like the void. I think Kaisa is very interesting. She's pretty unique though, right? Like, she was basically into the void as a baby. It seems like everyone that comes into contact with the void a little bit later in life seem pretty evil, like Kassadin and Malzahar. So I don't know if this will be a class. It could be, like Kaisa fighting fire with fire. So they're kind of like the good guys on our side, but yeah, I'm not sure. It'd be tough. She's pretty unique, but it would be cool to see a class like that in the game. And one last thing, I know that there was a big gap between the last video and this one. I kind of got caught up in real life stuff, right? School and finals and everything, but definitely expect to see more videos from me, probably like one a week. I forgot how much fun I had making these, and I definitely plan on making more, covering different stuff, like the short stories and specific characters that I really think are interesting. So look out for more. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.
My prophet, your empress has arrived. Witness your reward. The end of everything.